How's it going, guys? David here. Don't mind the scruffy hair. I just came back from the gym, and as I do, I went on IGN and I saw an article. And as I skimmed through it, it kind of piqued my interest with a little topic that I want to touch upon that I think, as a movie lover, kind of scares me. So let me put on my specs here. I mean, I can read it if I just put my iPod up against here. So it's pretty much a press release for the Blu-ray release of the Ghostbusters 2016 movie. And first of all, it comes out in 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray 3D combo pack on September 27th. That's literally just a little over 2 months since its theatrical release. The very small amount of time that it takes now to release a movie on home media from its theatrical release like this, where it's almost like just 2 or 3 months, it kind of scares me just a little, because the quicker it is to come out on DVD and Blu-ray, the more we're going to start to do away with theatrical releases, period. And that scares me because I enjoy the movie theater going experience. I just don't like the people that go along with me. Not the people that I invite with me, but the people that I have to share the room for 2 hours with. Along with that, they're also going to rename the movie. Yes, because apparently movies are now getting retitled for their home media release. Remember back when Edge of Tomorrow came out on DVD and Blu-ray, and they were kind of emphasizing the live, die, repeat part on the cover, and the actual title of the movie, Edge of Tomorrow, was like at the bottom, like, oh yeah, it's called Edge of Tomorrow. They're doing a similar thing with Ghostbusters. It's going to be called Ghostbusters Answer the Call. I don't know if that's going to help the movie whatsoever, but God be with you. Anyways, moving on to what I really want to talk about. They're going to release an extended edition of Ghostbusters with 15 minutes of additional footage integrated into the movie itself. Now, this brings up to this little gem right here that I'm pretty sure you guys are just sick and fucking tired of hearing about, but just bear with me this one last time. So, extended editions for movies coming out later on Blu-ray and DVD have been around for the longest time. But now I feel like these days, with the PG-13 theatrical cut of Batman vs. Superman versus the R-rated Ultimate Edition that was released later on in the Blu-ray format, kind of scares me as a movie lover, just like certain releases of DLC and certain trends going on in the video game department are scaring me as a gamer. One of the things that almost any gamer, including myself, will tell you that they really fucking hate is DLC, depending on how they treat it, because most of the time, well, not every time, I would say about maybe half of the time, just a little under half of the time, DLC is used as a way for companies to get your money, because sometimes they are suspected of holding back that content that was originally made to be in the game in the first place, and they just took it out and they said, oh, here's the DLC, pre-order the game now with like a bonus $10 season pass, $20, $30, $40, $50, maybe even $50 season pass, and then you can get that content that some hackers have actually been able to kind of like decrypt and hack their way into the disc and find out what's actually already on there. You just need to pay for the access. I am mortified that that type of strategy has been discovered by Hollywood. Let's write a movie that could potentially be good, shoot all of it, and then later on in post-production, to kind of make things go by a little quicker, just scramble as many of what they deem to be the essential scenes, put them together, and then they release it in the theaters, and then later on they're like, okay, we'll worry about the actual main cut that we intended for the Blu-ray and DVD releases. That's where the Ultimate Edition of Batman vs. Superman comes in. That's where the Extended Edition of Ghostbusters that's going to come out in September comes into play. And the potential release of an Ultimate Edition or Director's Cut or whatever the hell you want to call it of Suicide Squad. That's another movie, that's another property that was making the rounds for having an awful lot of footage that you can clearly see was used in the trailers being completely omitted from the final cut of the movie we saw in theaters. Some of which we're willing to bet could have made for a better movie. The scenes that intrigued me the most are some of the ones that were cut out from the movie that included the Joker, because that could have made for a very interesting, very somewhat tragic twist on the relationship between him and Harley in the movie, as opposed to what we ended up getting. But now it seems like if we want to see that in very clear quality in the way it was intended, we're gonna have to pay for these Blu-ray releases. Now, of course, if you know what's what, you can kind of work around this, because there's certain ways that you can get this sort of material on the internet. I'm not gonna say exactly what, but people are going to find a way to exploit that and post it on YouTube, and they're gonna check it out. But then this is going to generate a backlash as to why it is that we have to pay for the Blu-ray releases to get what was originally intended to be released in theaters. Do we now have to pay DLC for movies, not just video games, but for movies, and where is it going to stop? And like I said, I'm trying to overlook it because the history of director's cuts and extended editions and different alternate versions of movies being released later on home media have been around for decades, but the fact that this has been happening just a little too recently when it comes to completely different versions of movies that we get in the Blu-ray and home media versions versus what we see in the theater is just a little bit too much for comfort, especially when it's happening with some of our most beloved properties. I love Batman. I like Superman to a certain extent, and I was very much looking forward to their theatrical debut of the two of them being in the same universe, battling it out, only for this to happen. And God only knows what the future holds for the DC universe. But of course, that's a separate topic. What I am really curious about is that what is it going to take for Hollywood to kind of get the hint that these movies that are meant to be summer tentpole films that take on these very beloved properties, whether it be Ghostbusters or anything from DC, anything from Marvel even though they haven't exactly crossed that line just yet, what is it going to take for them to just cut that shit out and hopefully start releasing movies as they were intended to be? Please post in the comments what your guys' opinions is, because I really wanted to vent about this after I saw this article. I really had the urge to vent about this topic because I feel like this is indeed happening. I'm paranoid. I know I'm a little freaked out, just like Winona Ryder in Stranger Things. I'm gonna grab my axe right now any second, but I feel like there's something on the horizon that we need to look out for when it comes to the movies that we want to love, the movies that we generally want to go see and support in the theater, but not when they're giving us half-ass shit, and then later on we have to pay for the true experience almost a second time. So yeah, that was my little mini rant. Sorry about that. Thank you guys for watching. Please post in the comments below what you guys think about this sort of situation, whether it's meant to be a controversy or not. If you like the video, hit the thumbs up, share it with all your friends, and of course, if you're a newcomer, please subscribe. I got more videos coming up. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.